Y108 Nissan, or Bowser Nissan Theater. I am joined by Reviver recording artist Michael Tyler.
How we doing? What's everybody doing?
I like that. You got a little bit of like a cheer out of that. I like that. Screams.
Yeah, they're paid.
Yeah, look at
everyone
that.
here is paid to come.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in tonight. I know you have a lot going on your plate, that you're going around and checking out all the radio stations around the country, and I'm glad you stopped by. It says here that you were, and I asked for a bio on you because you don't have a Wikipedia page yet. We need to get that.
No, we don't.
Come on.
We're trying.
I mean, that's like the day and age. You got
Yeah,
to do.
this is when you should
so
email
people
my
can lie
management.
about you.
Yeah. Hey, you never know.
Exactly.
You don't have facts up.
It says here, Thayer, Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. Thayer, Missouri. It's right on the border of Arkansas, like 2,000 people, middle of nowhere.
Railroad town.
Yeah.
It was originally named Augusta. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay, because that's on the only, there's like 2 lines, seriously, on the Thayer, Missouri Wikipedia page. There's only like 2 sentences, and one of them is originally named Augusta.
Yeah, that's all they got.
And you know.
Nothing else happened.
And it says here, too, in the bio that you're, and I'm going to use this term because you have to when you're talking about the quote-unquote father of country music, kin to Country Music Hall of Famer Jimmy Rogers.
Yeah, so it's actually it's way back. It's actually great-great-great-great-grandfather's son's nephew, if anybody can follow that. But yeah, actually, Jimmy Rogers was like the first guy to make a country record, like to record a country record. And a guy named Ralph Pierce signed him way back in the day. And following him was like the Carter family, who does that Cup song that Anna Kendrick does.
Yep.
But I didn't know this until a year after I was signed with Peer Music in Nashville, who is, the Ralph Pierce like son and all that stuff. And found out one day, was walking through, I had my mom come into town, and she was walking through the halls, and she was like, hey, we're related to a guy named Jimmy Rogers. And,
wow, Mom.
Of course, yeah.
One of the first guys ever to sing country music and be the first inductee into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and of course, Michael Knox, my producer and manager, worked at Peer Music. He's like, huh? And she's like, yeah, I think I don't know. Well, ours died our Knox was like, yeah, are you sure it wasn't the one that was in the 1950s? Because there was a Jimmy Rogers in the 50s that was a little big. And then she's like, no, he died in 1933. And Knox was like,
whoa,
that's our Jimmy Rogers. And so she got on Ancestry, and she did the whole search. And sure enough.
Hey, it's in there.
Yeah, it's there. The blood is there.
Now, I will say this. If the blood's there, that means, you know what his claim to fame was? He was known for yodeling.
Oh, yeah.
Can you do that?
Oh, no. Nah, believe me, I've tried.
He had to that bluegrass yodel down to a science.
Yeah, that was his thing. That was what made him, I guess.
All right, so fast forward, you move to Nashville and you start writing.
Yeah, so actually how it happened is I was 14 and I messaged Michael Knox, Jason Aldean's producer, on Facebook. And it was basically like, dude, I love Jason Aldean, love your sound, and I want you to check out my stuff. And he actually replied. He's like, awesome, do you ever play in Nashville? And I was like, sure, And
had you ever been to Nashville at that time?
No.
I didn't think so.
And so he was like, well, cool, next time you have a show in Nashville, I'll come check it out. And I was like, cool.
Now I got to get a show in Nashville.
What do we do now? And then my mom gets on the phone. She calls Tootsie's and was like, hey, we need to play for a guy named Michael Knox. Do you know who that is? Can you help us out? And, of course, it was John from Tootsie's, who knows Michael Knox really well.
Exactly.
And he was like, oh, yeah, Michael Knox, man. We'll put you on the second floor. Yeah, y'all are good. And we were like, awesome. This is easy. And so we come to Nashville. We play the show at Tootsie's on the second floor. And Knox comes and sits with us after the show and was like, told us everything that, what he thought from his perspective. And he's like, I want you to go home by yourself, and I want you to write a song a month and post it on YouTube so I can, see it and we can move forward from here. I was like, awesome. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to write for a couple months, and then I'm going to come to Nashville, and this is going to be, that's it. So
done,
easy.
Made.
Yeah, so 2.5 years later, finally, Michael brought me to Nashville and put me with a couple of writers that he thought I would mix well with. And one of the first guys I wrote with was a guy named Jaron Boyer, who I actually moved in with after living there for a couple months, and started writing a lot with him. And fast forward another 2 years later, we wrote the #1 single for Dierks Bentley, "Somewhere on a Beach." Not just the two of us. Of course, we were co-writers. We can't take all the credit. Well, I can if they're not here, I guess.
It's funny because I was going to ask you about that. I mean, it's not every day that you write a song for a superstar like Dierks Bentley and then turns around and goes to #1. So I want to know, what did you contribute to the song? Besides the title, the melody, and everything else. You know, the hook.
No. It actually started on a writer's retreat in Destin, Florida. It was me, Jaron Boyer, and a guy named Josh Miranda. Two guys are my go-to writers. And we were there for 2 days, and the third day we had to leave. And it was the end of the second day. We had written 4 songs. We were like, "Guys, this is good enough." Our publishers won't hate us too bad. And so we're winding down, and somebody, I don't remember who it was, popped up with the idea, "Somewhere on a Beach." And, of course, we were like, "Yeah, that's corny." And we were kind of toasted. So we were like, "All right, let's get some beers, and we'll go down to the beach and get some chairs, and we'll chill out on the beach and talk about this idea." And so when we went down there, of course, we did everything but write a song.
I was going to say, I can't imagine being at the beach and trying to write a song.
Yeah, it didn't happen. And so we forgot about it, but we had written a bunch of stuff on the iPhone and all that stuff, and recorded voice memos and all that. And we got back to Nashville, and a couple weeks later, they were writing with a guy named Alex Palmer, who's a track guy from LA. And I was done early from a write, and so I just went upstairs to say hey to them, see if they wanted to go eat before I left out for the day. And they were like, "No, we want to hang back and work on this track. This thing is awesome." And I was like, "All right, well, play it to me. I just want to hear it before I leave. If it's that good." And they played it for me, and it was that good. It was "Somewhere on the Beach" guitar loop, and it was leaning more towards more pop side actually. The demo was and it was like sub kicks and hi hats, but I could tell they could tell also that there was something there, and I was like, "Well, since you don't have any ideas, why don't we write "Somewhere on the Beach" to it?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Somewhere on the beach," so whatever the idea we had. And I pulled out my phone and started showing them the lyrics and the melodies and stuff. And they're like, "Well, okay, well, what are you thinking?" I was like, "Roll the track." So they played it. I come up with the "Bet you think sitting at home, nah. Bet you think that I'm all alone, nah." And they were like, "All right, come in and shut the door." But yeah, we got in there, and man, it was like a wildfire. 2 hours later, we were done with the song. Track was done, vocal was done. So we ran downstairs to Michael Knox's office. Was banging on his door like, "Dude, you gotta listen to this thing. This thing is legit. This is a smash." And he's like, "I'll let you know." When he gets it out of there, plugs in his CD player and listens. And at the end, he was like, "Okay, this needs to be your first single. We don't need to pitch this song to any artist. I'm going to email all the publishers right now and tell them not to send this to anybody because this is on lockdown for you. So this is going to be my first single."
Nice.
And a couple weeks later, we got an email from Dierks Bentley's manager. It was like, "Hey, Dierks Bentley heard "Somewhere on a Beach," and he's really serious about it being his first single for the new record." And I was like, "That's awesome." Of course, and a couple people around me were like, "Well, I don't know. We should think about this." And I was like, "Give it to him." Just give it to him.
Your life has changed.
Exactly. And, I don't think I could have made a better decision because, I'm a songwriter before I was, singing and all that stuff anyways. And it's a huge deal for me to have, a cut on Dierks Bentley's record. And this Dierks Bentley, I grew up listening to Dierks Bentley. And it was
Don't tell Dierks that.
Yeah, especially. He knows. Unfortunately, we just had the #1 party.
Oh.
I was like, "Yeah, I grew up listening to you." And he's like, super weird.
He's never cut another one of your songs. All right, so the dumbest way you've ever hurt yourself. Yeah.
Okay. I already got it. So I had this thing with carving up sticks. I would make bows and arrows when I was younger.
I'm not going to go there, but where you grew up, it just lends itself right
Yeah, yeah. So, town 2,000 people, I had 60 acres to mess around on. So, when I was little, my parents let us have pocket knives. I don't know why. But yeah, I was shaving up a stick one day and ended up shaving a little bit of my thumb.
Yeah, that works. I've done that. I've seen that. All right, when you go home, what's that meal your mama makes that you got to have?
I don't know if it's this big thing. It's not important to anybody else but me, but
But that's the point.
just the biscuits and gravy and hash browns. I don't know why.
Because nobody makes it better, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's good, right? Yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
And nobody makes it better.
Exactly.
All right, and finally, you talk about music, obviously starting at a young age and being a songwriter, and you said you're a songwriter first as opposed to a performer. What's that song that when you're just in that mood where you kind of got to get out of this mood? What's the song that's going to get you out of that mood?
Man, I don't know. Like, I go through so many kinds of songs, so much different stuff. It just depends on. I don't really have a go-to song.
Okay. Well, what's the song that when you listen to it, you're just like, I love it. All right, this is just a great song.
There's a song called "Crazy Last Night" by Michael Tyler.
Oh, there you go.
No, totally kidding.
Perfect segment. No, yeah, you're a pro already.
No, I don't know why. There's just someone like you, Keith Urban, or Love Somebody Like You. That always just makes me feel good.
Well, it's supposed to. I think that's what Keith designed.
Yeah.
That's what's great.
I'm a huge Keith Urban fan too. So.
I mean, who isn't?
Yeah.
He just drives me nuts though with his talent.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, he picks up any instrument and instantly becomes
and the banjo solos and all that. It's like
ridiculous.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Tyler.